Hey, welcome back. It's Vina, and today, as you can see, we're doing another nail video. So, it's looking pretty rough right now. This one is broken off completely, and the rest of my nails are just getting a bit long and in some need of TLC. So, I'm super happy to say that this week I'm collaborating with Madame Glam, who are a nail care company. They've sent me some lovely things to try out, which I'm very excited about. So they sent me this very cute, tiny little UV lamp. So it just has these little legs that you can pop out. And then there you have it. And you just pop your hands under there. So it came with a little manual. It only has the one button, so I imagine it can't be that difficult to use. On-off button to turn it on and off. The time is 45 seconds by default. Okay, but if you press it a second time, it's for 60 seconds, and then a third time will turn it off. Okay, I'm sure I can handle that. They also sent me a soak-off, no-wipe top coat and a soak-off base coat. So these will be essential. And then I got this soak off builder gel. So this one can be used to sort of make a really hard kind of extension or just like coat. And another colour. This one isn't a builder gel, it's just a regular gel. In this nice sort of orangey brown colour. It was called Spiced Cider. The builder gel is tan. Now there was a third colour, but unfortunately it arrived broken. So I told them and they shipped me another little package, which just arrived. So I assume my third colour will be in here. Let's have a look. Ooh, okay. So here is the third colour that I asked for. And this one is You're a Joke. And it's this nice little sage green. But they've sent me something else. I wasn't expecting these. I'm really happy they were very quick. When I sent an email saying, oh, one of them came broken, they immediately were like, we were so sorry, and they sent me this little package. So this is nail and cuticle oil treatment. So every night after removing Madame Glam's gel polish after doing your nails, to rehydrate the cuticles, use a proper amount of the cuticle oil, apply on the cuticles, gently massage until absorption. Nice. So let's have a look at that. Oh, it's green. That's not what I was expecting. So this is the cuticle oil. So I'll use that at the end today. So this one could be nail file maybe. Ooh, oh my god, okay. So this one is cuticle pusher. So that's just used to push back those cuticles and shape them. And then this one is sort of a scrapey end. And then the other one is a removal tool, I think. So since these are soak-off gels, after you soak them, you use this end to sort of scrape it off. This one? I honestly have no idea. That might just be a decorative end. Wow. Well, that's really kind of them to send this stuff. I wasn't expecting this. It'll definitely come in handy. And here, I think it's just the instructions. Of course, if any of this looks like something that you'd be interested in, I do have a discount code that you could use. It is FINA30_1. But I'll stick a link in the description and it should take you straight to the website and the code will automatically apply. they did tell me to mention that if you don't want to have the like VIP membership with them, when you get to the checkout, click the pay as you go option, and you know, it won't do that. So let's give them a try first, huh? So the first thing I'm going to need to do is take off this nail polish that's covering up the atrocities underneath. God, it's really bad, huh? Good thing is though that these nails lasted a really long time. You can see how far they have grown out since I did them. So this one is actually a builder gel. I did that one later than the rest because I had the same situation as this one where it had broken, and then I replaced it with an acrylic nail, and when that acrylic nail came off, I put the gel on. So there we have it. It's looking bad. The first step towards removing these nails is filing off the bulk of it with my e-file. So I'm going to use the sanding tips, one of these, to take off the bulk of it. Like so. So you can see it take off this silver bit there. Now I'm just going to do that for the whole nail until we're down to sort of the base layer. Okay, so using a brush to get rid of all that dust, and I filed it down till there's only a sort of very thin layer left. So now let's hope that we can soak off the remainder. I'm using these clips. But you can also use foil if you don't have them. What I'm going to do is use these cotton pads and then this pure acetone. You can cut up the cotton pads into quarters, because that should be roughly the right size. Then all you have to do is soak each quarter in acetone, place it over the nail, and then just clip that on to hold it there. Okay, so I'm going to let these sit for 10 to 15 minutes and then scrape off what I can. And if it doesn't all come off, I'll just soak them for a bit longer. See you then. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. It's time to take off these clips. Oh, you can already see it working. is what we got. So I'm going to grab that tool, this one, and let's just start scraping away. Okay, so I can immediately see some of it's coming off, some of it is not. So we might have to do a secondary scrape. So second soaking is done and that gel is all off. So now let's repeat it for the other hand. Okay, let's remove these. And get scraping. Okay, we're back down to natural nails. Now, as you can see, they're not looking great. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of buff them all over, just to get rid of that shine and then also any unevenness. Now, I don't want to take too much away because I don't want to, damage the actual nail. The next thing you'll notice is that they're not very consistent in length, so I'm going to trim them down to match this one, which is the shortest one, this one aside. Except for this one, because as you can see, there's a little chip there, so I'm going to cut the whole thing off. Now this one can be a little bit longer, as thumbs normally are. Now it's fine if they're not exactly perfect, because I am going to file them after this. But to help with the shaping, I am going to sort of cut them into a pointier tip. So next up I'm just going to file them. The short ones I'm just going to smooth out into a natural curve. Like so. These ones I want to shape a little bit more. I like sort of almond shaped nails, so that's what I'm going to go for. So pointed but round. Now this nail for some reason grows kind of off to the side for me, so I'm just trying to level that out with the shape. Okay, so that's a good start. I'll file them again after the gel's on. Let's do this hand. Okay, so I can now move on to nail prep. And the first thing I'm going to use for that is, again, one of these. But this time I'm going to choose this one, the cuticle pusher. So I'll just start by just rounding out, pushing up each of my cuticles. And I don't need to go far, just making sure that they are a nice even shape. Most of them are already not too bad. Now I'm going to use my nippers just to top off those extra bits of skin that we've been left with. I'm not too bothered about it, so I'm not going to do any more than that. But there's one last thing, and that is cuticle remover. That helps for these parts where it's sort of on your fingernail. You just need to scrape it off. So I'm just putting some of this all around the cuticles on all of my nails. Now it says 15 seconds on here, so I'm just going to let that sit for that tiny amount. So once you wait a little bit, I'm going to use this end of my cuticle pusher just to scrape away anything there. Make sure that I've got a totally clean nail. You can see there are little bits here coming off. Taking these parts off are just going to help prevent lifting just that little bit more. The other hand. Okay, cuticles are prepped. So now I'm going to work on these two fingers. I'm going to give each of these an acrylic extension so they can match the length of their peers. To do that, we need to prep the nail plate first. So I'm going to use these two. First comes a pH bond. And I'm just going to coat the whole nail in that. And that can air dry. And then follow that up with a non-acid primer. Again, that just needs to air dry. And so now I can get to the acrylics. So to make the acrylic nails, you're going to need the acrylic powder, a brush, something to wipe the brush on, and a lot of my liquid. So I've got a little bowl to put my liquid in. You don't need loads, especially since I'm only doing 2 nails. So I'm just going to start with that. I'll add more if I need it. So before we can do anything, we need to add a tip. I have a little pack here. So try some out. So just go ahead and use nail glue. Just apply it to the end of that tip and press it on. Now hold that there for just a second while that nail glue dries. Beautiful, right? Do the same for the other finger. It's not quite enough glue. Allow that to dry as well. Now you can go ahead and just cut those tips to the same length as the rest of the nails. Okay, so once we have that, looking better, huh? Okay, so I'm going to work with those. It's started to rain outside, I'm sorry if you can hear that. And so, let's get started. I'm going to open up my acrylic powder. I need to be really careful with that because it's almost full. Now this one makes white nails. So, just going to soak my brush in the monomer and then get rid of any excess. And with that, I can pick up a bead of acrylic. Now, that was quite a big one. I'm just going to push that right up to the cuticle and pull it down like this. Now, you can use more of that liquid to help you shape it. And you can just drag that acrylic around until it has totally hardened, which honestly does not take long. And it doesn't really matter if you mess up, because I'm going to file this down afterwards anyway. I'm just going to take a really tiny little bead and fill in that spot. I'm going to make sure that we are not touching the cuticle anywhere. So I'm going back to my e-file now, just to file down these parts that are not looking right. It's mostly at the cuticle where it's not a very tapered edge. Okay, now the shape is looking relatively normal. I'm just gonna keep filing that down until I have it exactly the way I want it. course I want it to be a relatively thin acrylic nail because it needs to match my natural nails with the biab on. But I think that's looking good. So I'm going to do the same with the other hand. Remember also that the thickness of the gel polish will add a little bit. So now that extensions are done, wipe away all that dust. And we can finally start with the rest of our nails. So, I'm going to be using this Soak Off Builder Gel just to add some thickness to all of the rest of the nails. So, just like for the acrylic nails, I'm going to need to use these two to prepare the nail. So I'm just going to start with one hand. So this is Builder Gel, sometimes called Biab, Builder in a Bottle, and it's, as you can see, really thick. I'm going to start by just putting on this Soak Off base coat all over the nails. Like you can see, that's a lot thinner than that Builder Gel. So, cover the nail in a thin layer. Go right up to the cuticle, but make sure it does not touch it. And I'm going to go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. And also do the thumb. Okay. Now, I'm going to take that Builder Gel and just put a bead of it up towards the cuticle. I'm going to wipe off the excess on my brush, and I'm just going to sort of pull that bead from side to side until my entire nail is covered. Now, I want it to be a little thicker than this. So I'm going to do 2 layers rather than one very thick layer. I'm going to repeat that step for these 2 nails. First, pushing the bead up, the cuticles. And then just swiping on that product. Now, in the places where it doesn't get close enough to the edge, you can use a small brush like this just to taper it out. So I'm curing all three of those nails. And now I'm going to do a second layer just to make them a bit thicker, like the acrylic nail. Anyway, you just want to add a bit of height. Just glob on some more of that gel and position it the way you like it. Curing those again for 60 seconds. Okay, now I'm just going to repeat that process with my thumb. So on my one acrylic nail, I'm going to need to use the base coat again. Then cure that. I'm going to use this colour today, Spiced Cider. So, like any other gel, apply it in thin layers. I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds too. Now a second layer. So that's 2 coats of colour, and I think that's enough. So I'm going to follow up with the top coat. Now, just as with the rest, it needs to be a thin layer. Because this was a no wipe top coat, there's no sticky residue to wipe off, and they are dry now. So that means I can do my other hand and then we're done. Okay, and there we have it. I've done the other hand, so you have the full set. And I have one finishing touch that I want to do, and that is that surprise cuticle oil that I got. So I'm just going to dab a tiny bit of it onto each nail and just rub it in for a nice healthy cuticle. This actually also is helping remove the little bits of gel that I got on my skin. So thank you for that. So now that I'm nice and shiny all over, there it is. Finished look. So big thanks again to Madame Glam, who sent me the stuff for this. It actually is really nice. I noticed with the gel polish, you really do have to do very thin layers or it wrinkles, but that's pretty standard. And I'm really happy with how opaque, how like vivid the colour was. It only took 2 layers and that was already enough, and they look really good, I think. I really like this shade. So, thank you. If you're interested, head to that link in my description, and I hope you enjoyed watching me go through this. I'll see you guys again next week. Bye.